Acknowledgement of Country. Sai Ram. Before we commence this evening's program, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia and their continuing connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to the elders, past, present, and emerging. We also pay our respects to the traditional elders in Fiji and New Zealand, and also acknowledge their elders, past and present, upon whose land our Sai brothers and sisters meet to continue Swami's work tirelessly.
Sai Ram. Our pathway to Prashanthi is no ordinary journey. In the sacred texts of yore, sages and rishis had to undertake years and years of penance to get even a small glimpse of the divine form. And yet, you and I have been chosen to have this sacred opportunity to visit his divine abode. Swami has said, nobody can step into the hallowed gates of Prasanthi Nilayam unless he wills. Why then would we not seize this opportunity? But first, let us apply for the ultimate travel passport from him. A passport to allow us to travel back to the holy sands of Prashanthi, where his physical form crawled, walked, and talked. How should we apply for this passport? Well, the only prerequisite is to fill our hearts with the yearning for him. To travel back home, is a passport enough? No, we also need a boarding pass, which is his grace. As Swami says, when we come to Prashanthi, we come like cars to a workshop. We must aspire to leave with new paint, with all the damaged and loose bolts and nuts replaced, with the engine cleaned and reconditioned, and every part spick and span, beautiful, trouble-free, in perfect trim, ready to speed on the journey that lies ahead. To prepare ourselves for this service process, we have organized the Pathway to Prashanthi Satsang series. 5 conversations with energetic and vibrant speakers who will share their tips on how to make the easiest and quickest journey back to him. Join us each month on board the Sri Sathya Sai Airlines so that we can all undertake this journey together. Dearest pilgrims, while you are on board this flight, please remember to continue to charge yourselves with your daily sadhanas and keep yourself connected to him until we reach our final destination. We hope you enjoy every minute of your journey. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Sri Sai Ram. Let's begin this program by offering our loving and collective salutations at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Swami. Loving Sai Ram to you all. Today we are really fortunate to have Dr. Balasubramanyam Karanam, also lovingly known as Balu Karanam, as our guest speaker. Balu was born in a small hamlet very close to Puttaparthi in a family of Swami's devotees. Balu studied in village high school in vernacular medium, which is Telugu, which also happens to be Swami's mother tongue, and Swami speaks in that language. Balu went on to continue his studies in Eswaramma High School. Then he studied in the university, his graduation and post-graduation in chemistry. Balu is the best example to prove that if you put hard work and if Bhagavan's grace is there, there is no limit to your success. Balu had self-confidence and he has Swami's grace. So currently he is working as research scholar, and sorry, is a doctor in John Hopkins School of Medicine in cancer biology. So he's the best example for Swami's words of God's confidence. Sairam Balu, welcome to the program.
सर्वभूतधरं शान्तं सर्वनामधरं शिवं सच्चिदानन्दमद्वैतं सत्यं शिवं सुन्दरम्. My loving pranams at the lotus feet of Swami, who is in all beings, who is in all names. He is Sachitananda Swarupa. Thank you, Brother Mahesh, and thank you to all the Sai family members in New Zealand, Australia, and Fiji, and also all the Sai family members who are watching this program. It's a great, I take it as a blessing of Swami coming here and talking to you all.
Thank you, Balu. Now, let's have this conversation in two parts. One is obviously we want to hear your experiences with Swami. The second one is that, as you are aware, we are having a Prashanthi pilgrimage, a pathway to Prashanthi. The Zone 3 devotees are traveling to Prasanthi Nilayam for Christmas celebrations in Cycle Hall, right? So we'll also ask you questions regarding that, because as icing on the cake, you also happen to have had your recent pilgrimage along with Zone 1 devotees during Guru Purnima Day, and you had a lot of experiences in preparing and in Prashanthi. We will touch upon that as part 2 of the conversation. To begin with, again, it's all about journey. Can you please share your journey to Prashanthi, starting from your
Yeah.
earliest memory till date?
Oh, thank you. That's a you almost it's almost like an anti-accident therapy. You go back in the time and you become younger. I went when I was about 6 years old. Actually, family was already in Parthi because our village did not have high school those days, and all my siblings moved to Puttaparthi much earlier than me because I was the youngest in the family. So I stayed back in my village. So the siblings who joined the Eswaramma High School, that is that only school that time. In the what I'm telling is mid 70s. So that is the only school in the entire Vidyagiri, which later on we called that entire place as. So my brother, especially my second brother and my third sister, they used to come back and tell in the village. When they come back, they used to tell about Swami sending them apples, Swami sending them laddus. And I used to wonder that these people are not going to school, they are going to some kind of a temple. Later on, when I came to Parthi, I realized Swami never built schools and colleges. He built only a temple of learnings, actually. So that was the earlier description of Parthi to me. So, and also my brother very nicely said that Swami has pet elephant and pet camel. And camel is lesser known for all of those people. Actually, Sai Gita is very well known pet, but actually Swami also had a camel called Sai Kishore. So my brother said that this elephant comes and garlands Swami on Swami's birthday. So I was feeling that I am missing that, because for a child, somebody tells about an elephant, which is a very interesting thing. Like you see only somewhere in the forest, or you see in some circus or those days. But seeing an elephant, thinking about elephant is coming and garlanding Swami, I thought I'm missing something. So at least I should go to Parthi. Even I remember sitting with him 45 years back in the sands of Prashanthi. First thing I asked my brother is the elephant is going to come? Can you imagine? Swami's darshan was not started yet. So he said, just keep quiet, because there are seva dals, which are volunteers. They say that if you talk too much here, they will ask you to leave this place. So I kept silent for a while. I was also, this is my initial thinking. I was thinking that we all will go to into that beautiful Prashanthi Mandir and Swami sits inside and we go in turns and see him and come. But that is the first time, the wonderful, our sweetest Lord walking from Prasanthi Nilayam towards us in the sands. See, that is a very different concept, going to any temple or something where God is, static, or, he stays there and we go around, but here God comes to you. That is the first and darshan I had, actually. So, and also my brother told me, touch Swami's feet. Not only touching Swami's feet, he also told me to take the little sand which, on which Swami steps on. So I remember taking the sand and putting into my pocket, actually. See, these are all very precious moments we have enjoyed as a kids. That led me to join for my fourth grade in Puttaparthi village school. I joined in the Puttaparthi village school because there was no primary school those days. What I'm telling is, mid and late 70s, there was no primary school yet built, actually. They came in the early 80s. So the entire my life, actually, like from my primary to high school to graduation, post graduation, happens on that holy land of Puttaparthi. Going there again and again, every time going there is gives a same kind of that divine feeling. But especially as you mentioned, exactly 1 month back, we were all there from USA as a first pilgrimage in Sathya Sai Global Council. It was a wonderful experience of like that, the divine ambience and the way you get connected to the place. See, Mahesh, I want to tell you that whether you went as a child or whether you go as a like adult, the feeling is same. You are going to the mother's house. Actually, whenever you go and see mother, you don't feel any difference, isn't it? Every time it is new. She waits for you. You run to her. That is what it happens to all of us at Prashanthi Nilayam. That's why connecting to source is very, very important for every Sai devotee.
Thank you, Balu. Now I'll come to slightly tricky question, and at the same time I'll take the liberty to include you into my personal experience. You and me, we studied in Eswaramma High School and the university. We are friends, and all that. Frankly speaking, during those days, we never considered Swami as God. We have taken him for granted because every day you see him, every day you get an opportunity to sit in the front line or some significant place, and he talks to you. He does literally whatever you want, and he keeps giving you, like you mentioned, sweets, goodies, gifts, and all that. So we never felt that. We always took Swami as for granted. Even only now we realize that his divinity, and we take part in the organization and all that. So, especially for the people like us who have taken for Swami for granted, and also for those people who have never seen Swami, from both the spectrums, how do we see his presence at all times in our life?
Oh, that's a beautiful question, Mahesh. Yes, actually, see, he is God. There is no doubt about it, because even though, our parents installed that, see, the concept of God into us. Actually, see, the reason they took us there itself, that is the divine place, and these kids, when you go there, they will get imbibed with that divine blessing, and as well as the good qualities. If you look at Swami's concept of education, he always said that, see, I started this education as a pretext, to get you here, to change you. See, transformation is a major thing why God has come down in human form at Puttaparthi. Then he says beautifully at the time of you were also there in 87 vice chancellors meet, when Swami called all the vice chancellors all over the India, and he beautifully said that time the concept of Sai education. He says, Sadgunamulu Sadbuddhi Satyanirati Bhakti Kramasikshana Kartavya Palanambu Nerpunade Vidya. If you look at good virtues, Sadbuddhi, good intellect, Satyanirati, truthfulness, bhakti, devotion, kramasikshana, which is discipline, kartavya palanambu, doing the duty given to you. So he says the real vidya, real education is the imbibes these qualities. If you look at this, Mahesh, anyone who has these qualities will never lose a job. Actually, I keep on telling my own students here. I tell that these are the qualities. This is the beautifully told by Swami. If you look at this, nobody will lose a job actually, because if you do your duty, who will remove you? And your truthfulness. See, these are all very well, good qualities he has set into that education. That's why he says, tarachi tarachi chaduva tarkavada megani purna జ్ఞానం వెప్పుడు పొందలేరు చదివి 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 చావంగ నీటికి చావులేని చదువు చదువులే. Swami used to say this. If you keep reading, you will be good in argumentation. Actually, Swami beautifully says. But whereas you need to go beyond this mundane education, he says you need to imbibe the qualities of why as a human being. Actually, I'll narrate a very nice incident. This was a drama in 1990. It was about Swami's 65th birthday. This was a drama. Swami, more than the drama, we used to enjoy Swami's coming for the rehearsal actually. So in this rehearsal, there was this drama is a big drama. You have a Hindu scene, you have Muslims. It's about religions coming together, unity of the religions, all that. Let me not go into too details about it. This was one Christian scene where a rich Christian will be walking to the church. There is a beggar, waiting for the alms near the church. The scene is pretty simple, and the beggar asks for the alms, and rich man has to almost neglect him and little push him away. So very well, Mahesh, doing little bit harsh things and villainy in front of Swami is not that easy when Swami is watching. So what was happening that day was, the beggar was acting 100%. In the sense, the way he was asking, literally, we used to call him, very well, he was acting. Whereas the rich man, he knows Swami is watching this, so he was not pushing the beggar the way Swami wanted, because Swami, very well, is a wonderful director, the divine director. Swami says, no, repeat repeat it again. So it was a third time they were repeating the same scene. Then we were all getting a little bit we were getting angry on the rich man actually, because he is not acting well. We almost telling, beggar is better than you, man, kind of, how the kids speak in the college. So finally the rich man could do the pushing the beggar, that scene very well, and Swami was satisfied about the scene. Then Swami said a beautiful word called Vesham Koddi Vyavaharam, saying that as per the role should be the behavior. Because in the drama, Swami was telling about the drama, that based on your role, you need to act properly. But Swami didn't stop. Most of the Swami's teaching, that's why he has come down, to the human level. Swami said, since you wear the human form, that is the time he says, Manava Rupamu Dharinchina Daniki, you have to behave like a human being. Vesham Koddi Vyavaharam, he comes there. He says, you are a human being, you should behave like a human being. What are the human qualities? Again, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. And Swami also again very much used to emphasize on, you are not an animal, neither you are a beast. And he gives the meaning also. He says, beast is the one which scares the other animal, where the animal is the one which gets scared. So you should be never get scared, not scare others. Then only you are a human being, kind of, isn't it? See, that beautifully puts it and says, Manava Rupamu Dharinchina Daniki. That means you are wearing the human form. You should behave like a human being. See, that is the land, if you look at why Puttaparthi, people say that, because Swami is everywhere. This kind of, we get into very, philosophical and, mostly conveniently we speak about this philosophical truth, saying that Swami is everywhere, as if we are seeing him everywhere. Actually, if you are realized that much, I don't think we will utter so casually and like something like a conveniently, I call it. So it so happened, actually. See, I was thinking about this when I went to Parthi. Our own good friend, your classmate, Srinivasulu, had given me a book, actually. That book, luckily, I kept it in my bag while flying to US. So in the flight, as you fly to New Zealand, we have long flights here. So I took it out. See, this is the way Swami sends to us, what we need. And when I was reading, it is a beautiful letters written by Swami to the devotee, one of the devotees. In that, one devotee writes to Swami. This has happened long. I also quoted this in my talk at the pilgrimage, actually. Uh, I think she might have written to Swami saying that I am not able to come to your birthday. So, anyway, you are Atma Nivasi. Because you are in my Atma, so I no need to come also. Something like that. For which this beautiful Lord writes a reply in the form of a letter. See, these are the wonderful things left with us now. We know Swami is not physically present, but his literature, what he said. See, Swami thought about all these things long, long ago. I know how we are going to behave also. So Swami beautifully writes saying that Swami Atma Nivasi Prashanti Vasi Kuda. Can you imagine? You can understand Telugu. Clearly telling her the first line itself, I am in your Atma as well as Prashanthi Nilayam. Please remember that. You can't say that for your laziness, I can't make it. So it's almost like telling that I'll do Suprabhatam, covering with a blanket, kind of, isn't it? See, conveniently we use this spiritual truth. Swami is everywhere. Swami is in US, like that, unless, you go to that Prashanthi, because that's the way he is set up. He's he stayed there. The Prashanthi Nilayam is there. He lives. So coming back to our student days, see, student days, the age is the thing, because we have seen Swami from childhood, seen morning and evening. You and me, actually, morning darshan, evening darshan, we used to see that time. I feel it is more of an enjoyment. I'll take it like that, because there was no awareness. The awareness sets in. That is the time you start, the divinity, seeing the divinity. Like, I can tell you, after my sister's incident, when Swami saved my sister from a calamity, the way I used to look at Swami previously, the way after that incident I looked at him is entirely different. I used to literally have tears, actually. The minute, why am I wasting every minute, like, where are you? Like, see, like, even sight of Swami, just, how we used to almost turn like sunflowers, isn't it? Like how they turn towards sun when Swami walks in that beautiful darshans. All the eyes of devotees will be on the Swami, and it will be moving. You are part of that kind of a beautiful enjoyment. See, that is the age, I think, and also Swami being with us, very humorous. So a lot of people don't know the Sai humor also. Swami used to be very humorous, and pulling children and talking to them. What did you eat? How was the idli? These kind of things made us. Oh, he's looking like us, so he's like us. But again, at times, many of our students also called for the interview, and Swami, when the materializes, and so when Swami tells all about their past, everything, that is the time the awareness sets in. So it's not that we didn't know his divinity, but we were literally sitting and basking in that wonderful, divine, ambience. But we saw different people coming in, falling at his lotus feet, talking. We saw wonderful speakers, great, some kind of a statesman like that, different countries visiting, all the devotees from different countries. That time we didn't even realize that we will be going to some of these countries one day, and we'll be coming from there also. That is a very different experience now. When we come so far to Puttaparthi, we realize the value of it much more. And when you are there, what happens is, anyway, I'm here. I'll be there for MSc, my post graduation. So there was a little bit of what I call. I don't say that we didn't realize the place value, but since we are in it, see, it's like almost like, when we leave the mother and, parents away, we know the value of them, isn't it? It's similar with divine parent and divine mother and father, that is Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. The minute we left, the minute we started seeing how he is playing a role in our life, the more and more you get, close to him. Actually, one incident comes to my mind. So it was around my MSc second year or so. We were all sitting in the bhajan hall, actually. So Swami came one day, and Swami said, "Who is a good boy? Lift your hand." See, there are 60 of us. I'm sitting in the middle. We thought, I actually, for myself, I can say, I thought everybody will lift because everybody is a good boy there. So, like I just lifted my hand actually in front of everybody. Later on, I found that I'm the only one with hand up. It was such a, very different kind of a experience. Then Swami saw me sitting in the middle, and, with his index finger, he said like this. So the line was, formed in front of me so that Swami can walk until me, actually. Swami came and, like, we remember when we were in MSc or, higher classes, we thought we knew how to speak to Swami, but always whenever we spoke, it was wrong only because Swami used to always correct us. So Swami came and said, how do you know you are good? Then in Telugu, I said, Swamiki Telusu, saying that Swami knows that I am good. Then, easy reply. Then Swami came back, and then he asked me a beautiful question which reverberates in my heart, and it is for all of us actually. Swami says, conscience lo confidence unda. This is the question Swami put to me that day actually. Saying that, see, there is a conscience in us, isn't it? Which drives us, which corrects us, which puts in the right path. Actually, see, anything you want to do wrong or something, there is somebody in you, that is none other than Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, for all of us, will tell this is the way to go. But whereas there is a mind which snubs it, saying that, there is a noise of mind, voice of God, I call it. The voice of God is the conscience, actually. That will guide us. If any whatever may be that toughest situation, you just ask, it will guide you actually. But how to improve that is, again, every day, doing puja, every day dhyanam, and every day the what you call meditation, bhajan. See, this continuous sadhanas only will give us the sharpness to be always with God. See, if you say that, I'll once in 3 months I'll do bhajan, the feeling will be different. But if you go every day or see, in Parthi we used to do every day. Then when you come to these countries, it will be every weekly or something like that. But it has to be, Swami says, it is you need to do this regularly. And you remember Swami giving a wonderful, example of a bus going in the village road. Actually, I can never forget this beautiful example Swami gave. He says, why should we do sadhana? Swami says, it is like a bus in the village road. When the bus is moving, dust is rising, Swami says. When the bus stops, the dust comes and accumulates on the bus. Think about it. Only Swami can give this beautiful, practical examples. So it is sadhana doing every day. Like whether you spend 5 minutes with God, Do it regularly. That is very, very important, Swami says, because bus is moving, dust is rising. Remember that. The minute bus stops, the dust settles down. Dust is again our vasanas and all our old habits raised as a dust. When you started moving in the in this direction of God, they'll come back and sit on you. So they will. That's why Swami says you have to do the sadhanas. I think unknowingly we were understanding the divinity, even though we were not capable of who he is and what he was doing and how many millions of people around the world he is touching. Now when we come out and see from this side, the Sai looks all over the universe, and this is the way we can see from here and go to that source, where Swami set up for all of us, that is Prasanthi Nilayam.
Thank you, Well. I think you have covered two very profound points. One is Vesham Koddi Vyavaharam, behavior based on your role. It's absolutely true. We wear different hats now in life, as a parent, as a son, as an office bearer, as a devotee, as an employee. So we need to be always conscious that Swami is within us and mold our behavior in which is pertinent to that particular role. It's a beautiful, beautiful message Swami has given, and you passed it on to us today. The second one is having confidence in conscience. What a brilliant idea, what a brilliant concept, that if you have confidence in conscience and always remember that conscience is within us and follow it, we are living with Swami every moment. Thank you for that. In fact, I always feel very happy and remember and tell devotees here is that probably the later part of 80s can be called as a golden era in Swami's students' lives, because that is the period Swami used to very frequently come to the university. I remember Swami teaching the awareness class, which is on a Thursday for an entire year, on various scriptures of India, and he used to teach every Thursday to the entire Prashanthi campus, 9 to 10, right? So
Yeah,
nobody had that opportunity of learning directly from Swami as a teacher. The second beautiful thing that we all of us enjoyed, the students during that period, is the portico sessions, veranda sessions.
correct.
Immediately after darshan, right? After the interview, Swami used to come out, spend good 30 to 45 minutes standing in the middle of the students and giving lessons like this. So my next question is towards that, in combination of our pilgrimage. When I said that, we used to look forward for that veranda sessions, and for the information of all the devotees who are listening to this, the roster system in the hostel to go to darshan to form the lines is that every day in the afternoon one class gets chance to lead the line, everybody else follows that lines based on their reservations. We put a cushion right from lunchtime and wait there to get that chance, but the first lot will be one class for that day, right? So we used to know the roster when our turn comes, once in 10 days, once in 15 days, kind of a thing. And once we finish our one turn, to wait for the next turn, it is like preparing for a pilgrimage. Because standing in the first line and going and getting that prominent seat where Swami is going to come and talk for 40 minutes is like is a pilgrimage, right? You have to prepare for
That's true.
that, so that Swami will make sure that you get a place. When you once you get a place, Swami comes to that place. When he comes there, he'll talk to you. Those kind of things. It's like that age, it's like a lot of anticipation, expectation, and preparation is required. It is almost similar to sadhana for a pilgrimage. So, can you please share a few experiences when we were waiting for our turn? How you used to prepare yourself, especially when you have something to achieve, you want to get something from Swami. How you used to prepare? We can, you are getting the analogy what I'm trying to compare.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, oh, I totally enjoy your question, because we used to, as a class wise, we used to go, because not every day same person cannot sit there front. Actually, people don't know these things. Even in the hostel, we had this rotation system. So again, our turn is the best. That is the day you know that you can give a letter, you can give a poem, or you can give, whatever you want, or you want to ask about your family, anything. Because again, as you said beautifully, where to sit, how to sit, when we can ask Swami, all that we can plan. But at the same time, it's all in the Swami's hand, whether he can come there or he can just avoid that entire first row. Because you might have seen many times Swami just coming and talking to somebody somewhere near the car shed. You remember, for a long time, the people who are sitting front doesn't see where Swami is, but whereas the people near the car shed enjoying Swami, because that is again the same place when we went there last month. All these memories poured in, Mahesh, actually, because that is the place where we were doing our homework when Swami takes the devotees inside, for interview. So we used to do homework, and immediately when Swami comes, we used to just close that homework wherever it is and wait for his beautiful, sambhashan. And there were wonderful, highly learned people whom we used to call VIPs, who used to sit on that little higher, uh, upper portico. Then we were there in the middle portico as well as lower portico as a students. And Swami used to ask them also so many questions. Talking, when Swami is talking to them, we observe that how they speak to Swami, and like how detailed Swami is. If Swami, like I still remember, what is somebody went to Anantapur campus, if I remember. Swami was asking every detail, like what all happening there, like that. See how detail is, he as a chancellor he is about the campus. That's one of our campus, actually. So again, that going as a birthday boy, I still remember. Then when we are sitting front, the as a class, we used to carry the little, this clothes for Swami to take it from you. That's there is a way of giving clove box to Swami. You see, these are all well trained at, actually you have to, the teachers will tell you that, you don't push it, just show it to Swami, show it with full earning, like, Swami, please come, kind of. Then he'll come and he'll take a clove. I still remember that. He'll remove that bud, then take the clove and put it under his, tongue. That's a beauty. And Swami used to put both hands back and stand on the portico. I don't know, you remember those days, like, it's a absolute, this is a beauty, actually. It's like, that was the entire devotees will be watching him, and we will be behind Swami, and Swami with, like, both hands kept back like that and standing on the portico. Actually, I can never forget those. And again, at times, Swami will stop talking to the students. And I still, last week I was talking with a very, very old devotee here who visited Swami from 70s. It seems Swami was not talking to students, because Swami used to act that he has the anger. Swami never has anger, but to correct us, he used to sometimes keep us away. So that one of that session, this devotee was telling me, Swami inside was telling, they're all good boys. I simply test them by acting like this. Can you imagine? Swami was telling to a devotee when we were all outside, telling Swami, please come to hostel or something like that. So that those that the relation, the bond, what we call prema bandham, which is eternal for us with Bhagavan. So to relive those moments, actually, when we go there, it all pours in, actually. See, Swami, that is the entire place he walked. Actually, I still remember Prem Anush, who spoke to all of us. He shared a beautiful experience. He said, while they all went to Uruvakonda, you remember, Swami, that's the where Swami declared, this avatarhood. So, while going to Uruvakonda, there was a temple of Narasimha comes, it is called Penna Hobilam, actually. So these kids went, and see, When they went there, they asked the priest, why, what is the, each place has a, in India, wherever that there is a temple, the people tell about the Sthala Mahatyam. Sthala Mahatyam is, the sacredness of that place. So the priest told them, it seems, after killing Hiranyakashipu, when Narasimha walked, one of the step fell on the where the temple today is. Then beautifully this boy, Prem Anush, I'm telling you, you all should hear to him. Actually, he connected that to all the SSC kids and YA sitting, in the, all of us actually, even I got connected very much. He said, look, we are all sitting today in Western Canteen where he gave the talk. He said, this entire place, our Lord has put his step. So how much sacred it should be. See, the minute he connected the temple thing to the, Prasanthi Nilayam, where Swami has gone almost into every house there, actually. So every part of Prasanthi Nilayam he walked, whether it is a round building, inauguration is done by Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. All these buildings are, inaugurated. A Western Canteen, all these things are Swami came inside. So how much sacred we should feel about each step of the Lord which happened on that beautiful Prasanthi Nilayam. So it is a very sacred place. We need to go with, whatever our sadhana. Again, sadhana can be customized because some people can do whatever what interests them, something like chanting rudram, or writing likita japam, or little, see, based on SSC kids can do one kind of sadhana, YS can do other, like. So again, the sadhana's very important part is you get connected, you are tuned yourself with Bhagavan before even landing at Prashanthi Nilayam. That is the sadhana part actually.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I just want to come still closer to the pilgrimage part of it. It's nice. It's more of a recollection for the for the devotees who have already visited Prashanthi, because we have some of the devotees who are visiting Prashanthi for the first time. Can you share your experience of your recent pilgrimage with the perspective of the first time visitors? Maybe you had from your part of your contingent from USA some of the first time visitors. So how did they enjoy, and what our first timers can anticipate and expect in Prashanthi Nilayam?
It's a beautiful question. Like, see, the people who have seen Swami, touched Swami, talked to Swami, these are all one side, but there are a lot of wonderful devotees who are getting into Sai fold and not yet come to Parthi, isn't it? It is our, like, obligation, divine obligation, I feel, to make them, take them to Parthi and make them to feel what we felt there. So, especially, Mahesh, what we planned for our SSC children, because these are the children who have not seen Swami, they heard about Swami. Especially, like, my own second daughter, she has not seen Swami in person, but actually, like, she connects with him through SSC only, because our Sathya Sai HL, which tells about all the Swami stories, all that. So we thought, for all the SSC and the first timers, especially, we made a field trips. Actually, we rented a APSRTC bus, and because the kids will enjoy hop in and hop out rather than walking, and also because of COVID restrictions, all that taken into consideration. So we booked APSRTC bus, because you understand APSRTC bus very well. So take the, I also told them that this bus don't expect to be US standards or all that, but enjoy the bumpy ride, you are happy to go. So we took them to Swami's birthplace, okay, and also prior from there, no, first we went to the Eswaramma's, the well, where Eswaramma has seen the blue light before even Swami's birth. Can you imagine? We started there, then we came to Swami's birthplace. Then we made them to sit there and chant Sai Ishwaraya Vidmaye Satyadevaya Dhimahi. Then we came through that, Satyamma school and the Swami's, the village primary school where Swami studied up to fifth grade. Then, Kalparuksham. Can you imagine? Even I myself climbed after a long time with these kids all the way up. Actually, see, that is a Kalparuksham climbing can be a very good cardio exercise for everybody. Actually, you might have gone through many times. So these kids enjoyed the questions they asked, like how a tamarind tree can give all the fruits, all that. It, in a way, it gives an opportunity for us to tell it is not the tree, it was the Swami's hand which was bringing all those fruits from a same tree. Because Kalparuksha, there is the Swami, the tree is just a pretext for him to materialize all that. So all these little things, I think we need to connect them. We need to tell them that how important to know these things. And the entire, actually Satyam Sivam Sundaram as a pictorial, real kind of a introduction, if you give them. And also the bhajans and the way we sit in the Sai Kulwant hall, that ambience from the Vedam to the bhajan. Again, Prashanthi bhajans, I don't think you can enjoy more than when you sit right there and hear that in that sannidhi. Actually, again, see, again, we miss Swami's physical presence, but certainly his presence is all over there. And the way actually this is the time you need to show them the college, and also how the college runs, as well as the hospital, which is a free hospital. See, these are all Swami's works, actually, isn't it? And certainly we can't show them this water project. But again, even the mandir working, Mahesh, like from 5 in the morning, almost 9 in the 9:30 in the evening, how the Sevadal are meticulously see to that everything goes in the timely manner. The food is served for thousands of people who are pouring in for Guru Purnima. This was a great understanding of Puttaparthi for a lot of the newcomers, because they think that everything is very people don't understand how much Satsai Central Trust is doing, how much is all this Indian Seva organization, which is a huge organization, about 40, I think 40 lakh Sevadals. So that's why we are very very happy to be in this something called Sathya Sai Global Council, where it brings all the countries and we get to know each other. See, I was very happy to hear that you are getting speakers from India very easily talking. See, all this has changed within a year. So I'm pretty sure if you can take to all the newcomers, SSC students and YAs, and get connected with all these places of where Swami touched, and Swami's the sacred places in Swami's birth and entire mission, I think they will enjoy quite a lot, actually. And that will, see, once we train especially SSC kids, that takes the generation to generation, they can pass it on. This is our duty and obligation, I feel, to take care of them, actually, and also ask them what exactly they want to hear, and also set up those kind of talks. And some people who want to serve, there are different ways of service, and there's so many opportunities there.
Okay. Thank you, Balu. We'll make a note of it and we'll try to implement that. And you very broadly touched about sadhana, but can you please share few details of specific activities you carried out in while you were in USA, like Likada Chapam and other things? I mean, just go to a bit in details so that each one of us know, like personal sadhana, which you said is really important, because Swami always says personal sadhana is a must. So what kind of personal sadhana, what kind of a collective sadhana your team has done, and how you reflected it in Prasanthi Nilayam?
Yeah, see, actually, what we started that 1008 sadhana. It is there on our website. So it is a customized sadhana, like, reading Swami's, Vahinis, and, understanding it. And as a collectively, you can do a study circles. And also, our people had a, educational program where a lot of speakers spoke and they understood, and they gave a certificates also for education program. And again, on the individual level, everybody, either it is chanting rudram. See, you can take it up actually in that 1008 sadhanas. You can pick up what you like. So each one picked up, writing Swami's name, or, actually, somebody said very beautifully, you can leave it on your refrigerator, actually, like, what to do that day or something like that, in the sai, so the sadhana I used to do, actually, thanks to Durjati, our devotional coordinator, he mentioned to me. So usually in USA, however busy we are in the workplace, we get almost a 1 hour lunch time, Mahesh. So what we used to do is, actually, he told me, Durjati told me that in 1 hour lunchtime he writes Om Shri Sai Ram. Can you imagine? See, that's such a wonderful thing. I really may make sure that I get that time for writing Om Shri Sai Ram. For that, sometimes even I partake my lunch quickly, because so that you get more time to write his name, because he thinking about his name and writing. Basically, when you write his name, you are connected with him. Actually, that's why these Likita Japams are, very, very important. And also, we saw to that all the children had the Likita Japam books with them, so that when they sit for, Vedam, and, before bhajan, until bhajan, instead of they're looking here and there, that can happen to even adults, actually. So Likita Japam played a big role as a sadhana to concentrate on Bhagavan and be in tune individually, collectively with Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Actually, that helped us quite a lot. And of course, some people, we did service. That is a sadhana itself. Planning for the service, like, we gave the children clothes. We have taken so many, about 2,000 pairs. It was shipped. The people who couldn't make it to Parthi, they shipped through Flipkart or Amazon to, one location. Then we took it to Parthi. And again, I want to tell you, doing service, I think we should go through the, mandir authorities, because we are naive. We don't know what to do, where to do. I think better to go through the, mandir authorities, and, they will guide us much better than, see, doing service right way is more important. Actually, when we went there, there were people from Paderu, that area in Andhra. They had come, so they told us to, give these clothes to all the children who are come there, actually. So service, I think we should go through proper channel there, because otherwise, in the name of service, if you go out, people are lost. Our people cannot manage also. Very well how the thing is. So it's good to do some service in the hospital, some service in the, college, anything. See, basically, we had a service component, so some kind of a group which guides us on service. One group was on accommodation, one group was on, devotion, like that. We made the groups. Then we had the meetings again and again with all the group leads, actually. That way we could tie everything together.
Beautiful. Yes, our project leader, he's in touch with the PRO at Prashanthi, and he's planning. But so I was more touching on the experiences people had while doing those kind of things.
Oh yeah, experiences they enjoyed, actually. The thing is, like, they one thing is, all the kids really enjoyed. SSC kids were, like, their enjoyment was, over through the ceiling, kind of, because they were kept on. Actually, I was with the SSC kids. Can you imagine? I purposely took that, because one thing is I can enjoy it. Number one. Second is, like. see, like I could see their interest to know about Swami, to learn about that place and what it meant to be coming to Prasanthi Nilayam, and how I told them it is your duty to come in again and again. So that SSC kids and the newcomers, they have like their own experience. They never seen that kind of a love, and uh, the the welcoming, actually, the way the entire ashram authorities welcomed us, it was wonderful to see. And the stay was made very comfortable. We could get whatever we want, and the sense, basically, for the medical camp, it was, everything was set. They came and inaugurated about 2076 patients were able to get the medical help. Actually, that was went for 3 days, and that those experiences were, all the kids, it is transformative, isn't it? They'll see the how these people are, suffering, and how, like. And also we did in the local school supply, like we donated all the school supply to all the 210 children. Can you imagine? We made our SSC children to do that, so that these people who are staying in USA, they know the worth of what they have and how those kids are missing. Let them know that link, actually, because unless they see, really see doing, and when we get into the act, you understand better, isn't it? Even the service kind of thing, so they see while coming back how not to waste all the stationery. In the sense, you might have seen, when they are children, they'll throw pencil, everything everywhere, but we told them those kids doesn't have that. It is our duty to give. So they were very, very happy going into that small school and giving to every kids, actually. So that's the way I think we can touch the hearts. So when we do when we make them to do the service, that touches their heart, and that transforms their heart, I feel.
So when you are mentioning that you were with SSA kids, it's not a surprise to me, because I know how naughty you are, and how you went to any extent of enjoying Swami's attention. Before we conclude, can you just share an experience for our brothers and sisters, how you pretended to be a Kannada poet when you were missing a chance to be a Telugu?
Oh, that's a huge story by itself. If you are ready to stay for another hour, I can say, but I'll tell you in a nice, very small way. See, I was uh, Swami's poems were very, very dear to my heart. I, like, in the sense, how it happened was, I used to sit in Purnachandra. The only language, beautifully you said that I studied in the vernacular medium. The only language I knew was Telugu, but that was enough, actually, because that is the language Swami spoke, as you said beautifully. That's good enough for me to understand Bhagwan, actually. So, like, I used to write these poems. Actually, I still remember, I still have my very, very, the papers which have gone very bad also, because it is 30-40 year old. It is, Swami says, తనను తాను తెలుసుకొనుటయే తనువు దాల్చినందుకు పరమార్థం. This is the Swami's words. Can you imagine? It's a beautiful, chaste Telugu, saying that knowing oneself, తనను తాను తెలుసుకోవడమే తనువు దాల్చినందుకు పరమార్థం, Swami says. Actually, that's the starting point of his discourse. So I again and again and read it. That should be the real, like what we call message for the entire Sathya Sai mission, actually, isn't it? See, because getting the innate divinity outside. So poems, I used to love so much, because it is Swami tells uh, before every, his discourse. And again, Swami, when we were students, one day he came and said, how he explains his discourse. He says his discourse is a tambulam given to his devotees. Tambulam in Western parlance is a goodie bag, we call it here, but in Telugu, tambulam is how they give is, Swami says, there is a gold plate, you put silk clothes, On that you put beetle leaf and beetle nut, and with dakshana, and you give the tambulam in the South Indian parlance. There Swami explains his entire discourse as his, as a tambulam. He says the gold plate is the one which is the poem on which the entire the
Discourse
the
rest.
discourse starts. Then the clothes and all the other things are the content, are the stories. Swami tells beautiful stories. In middle he'll sing also, but finally Swami concludes with a song. So that is, Swami says, beetle leaf, beetle nut, and dakshana. And Swami also very clearly mentions that there is a money in that actually. So that final thing is the. So somehow I don't know, these gold plates I was very very close to actually, like that. Those are the poems Swami himself said. And also poem, usually if you look at that, becomes Swami's entire that discourse becomes basis starts with that poem actually, that 4 lines. And sometimes bigger ones actually, especially on Swami's birthday, Swami used to sing bigger poems, especially Sisa Padyams we call it. I enjoyed, because one thing is language, as you said. I knew only that, so better enjoy what you have, isn't it? So I used to write poems, Mahesh. Every now and then I used to give it to Swami. I also had this, I used to think that I am the best poet, let me tell you, actually. Like some of my classmates, especially Pani Bhushan, all these people, they used to tell me that I don't follow the proper meter. Telugu has a meter, but I was also very good at arguing, as Swami beautifully says. So I used to say, how does meter matter when Swami is with you in centimeter? I used to argue like that, because when Swami is taking my poem, Swami is close to me. My distance with God is in centimeters, and you are talking about this meter. So I used to just snub them. So those who liked my poems, they became very very close to me. They're my close friends. Those who didn't like my poems, I used to keep them away. That was my laval sarval. I see again. These poems, some things like, I'll tell you, Deha Bhranti Nundi Deva Ninune Marachi, like that, and all I have written, saying that I have the body consciousness, all that. I need to get out of body consciousness. I used to think I'm highly,
Spiritual.
spiritual. But again, end of the day, I never used to like the person who don't like my poems, actually. Very simple. See, it went on for a while. It's a long story. Then I think Swami was observing where I am leading to. See, then this there was a nice on in our hostel notice board, on the occasion of Indian Independence Day, whoever is a poet, please give their song, the poem or something. So I also took one of these poems, because see, till then only Swami has seen my poems. I thought this is the good time I can open it to public, because I want the public also to recognize me as a poet. So it looks like I am late. I went and gave this man this poem, and he said, no, there is one AMS Sairam who had given this Telugu poem. I was thinking, does anybody else write poems also? That kind of ego, maybe. But I didn't get opportunity. 2 days over, and this is a college function. All the poets need to come in. 2 days over, I hope you remember Guru Prasad, my
Yeah.
classmate. He was in that poet, he was share shairi, all that he used to do. We both were walking to the lunch, to the, our hostel. Suddenly this Guru Prasad says that, this Kavi Sammelan won't happen, man, he said. I was happy inside, sad outside. I acted sad outside. I said, why? There is not all the languages are represented. So we don't have Kannada, we don't have Gujarati, like that. He mentioned some. Then I was, I thought, anyway, they didn't allow me to come in, so why should I worry about it? So little bit when we walked in front of Eswaramma High School, actually, while going to hostel, this boy tells me he's from Mumbai. The Mumbai people can make you anything, they'll change you. Like, he was telling me, since I know little bit Kannada, I need to tell everybody my Kannada background. See, my mother sang Purandardasa Kritis. That doesn't make me a poet, isn't it? My father spoke little Kannada because Puttaparthi area is close to Karnataka. But again, none of us are, like poetry Kannadikas or whatever it is. So then this boy says, since you know little bit Kannada, take a Kannada poem and sing it. So this is in the college quadrangle. Can you imagine? For the Indian Independence Day, which is coming day after tomorrow. Tomorrow for you. I said, this is crazy, man. No poet can say taking other language as you are, you are a poet of some language. So then it's a long story short. I went and picked up a Kannada song, and I wrote it in Telugu. I'm frankly telling this. I wrote it in Telugu. I submitted to the same person who rejected me as a Telugu poet. Believe it or not, he hugged me and said, Swami sent you, my brother. Can you imagine? Saying that Swami sent you because we are waiting for this language person to come in. And you just got into the bus, toward almost jumping into the bus or something. And he also told me today Swami is, we will go and get the blessing from Swami, he said, for the function in the college. This is nothing to do with major Kavi Sammelan or whatever it is. So I happily went. Going front always, you said, no? Going front always is, any chance is given, we will take it, isn't it? To go and sit in front of us. Swami came and looked at, and he looked all the list of the poets. And Swami said, you go today after our, the Swami's bhajan, you meet in institute auditorium. I will come and see your rehearsal. Can you imagine? I submitted the poem in the afternoon. Rehearsal with Swami is in the evening. Only Swami can do this, actually. So went there. I I chanted the way I could remember that entire thing, because you can't read in front of Swami. That time Swami said, Bagundi, he gave, everybody Pad Namaskar and he left. When the next day he called us, the first thing Swami asked is, he closed the door, just like a mother. See, mother in front of everybody, if Swami says the program was not good the previous day, all the institute authorities would have given us interview, because saying that who asked you to take the half-baked program to Swami, isn't it? Yeah. There, when Swami came, he said, very nice. When we go inside, Swami closes the door and said, program is bad. Bagaledu, Swami said, no, none of you prepared well. Can you imagine, like a mother, when you sit with a child, she tells them what is the real, isn't it? Then Swami, I was thinking, I'll tell you, Mahesh, that was the day I realized he is the omnipresent, omniscient Lord. See, I was thinking, Swami, they didn't give opportunity to the good people. The thought was coming in front of Swami. Immediately, the next question in that interview was, where is the Kannada poet? Can you imagine? Swami caught right there and said, what kind of Kannada poet you are? See, I don't know why Swami gave that opportunity. Even Swami would have, so that not only that led to one Kavi Sammelan in college, and another Kavi Sammelan for Dashara time in our, Purnachandra, which is a very scary thing. Like, in the sense, so many people sitting and you need to perform. I feel, when I look back now, again, that is not my language, but not. See, language can be a barrier to reach God. That is one thing, isn't it? See, usually language can be a barrier, because we try to hang around with the people who speak the same language. But if you look at Sathya Sai organization, all language people come together, isn't it? So maybe I see this a multi-layer thinking. I thought about it always, because see, anytime Swami could have said, you are not a Kannada person, you don't need to be in this, program. I could have that itself is an experience. But the thing is, Swami saw to that I learn Kannada and sing in the Purnachandra. That itself gave me even now goose pimples, and that itself is his blessing, and that also gave me a confidence, Mahesh, that with Swami we can do anything. I'm telling you, that was it's a huge experience by itself. But thanks to Praveen who helped me with the Kannada poem, and thanks to all those, Guru Prasad is no more merged in Swami. I can never forget these people who made me to make that, whatever I call it, a mistake of jumping into Kannada and caught by Swami actually. So Swami was waiting for that to happen, and he made it to happen. I feel everything is happens with his will, isn't it?
Yes, excellent. Thank you so much, Balu. Before we conclude, do you want to say any message to the devotees?
Oh, wonderful! Actually, have a wonderful, pilgrimage to Prashanthi Nilayam. I'm pretty sure that you all will enjoy that divine ambience and the spiritual, upliftment, as well as that refreshing, recharging at Prashanthi Nilayam is always. That is our place. That is our home. That is the mother's home. That's the where all of us belong, from entire globe, the source for every one of us Sathya Sai devotees, Prashanthi Nilayam. Let us go there, keep going there again and again. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you so much, Balu. You have, in fact, literally, virtually have already traveled to Prashanthi during your sharing, because touching the old memories was great. I'm sure many devotees would have also had the same experience. Thank you for taking your time, especially late in the night on a weekend, to share with us. Thank you so much. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.